Okay, then. Well, good afternoon. This is our second Thursday weekly update number 58. Can you believe this week? And we're improving all the time. We've actually got some notes as well this week, which is brilliant. Just finished work. I've also got one of my mates to jump in and comment. You saw Scats last week. I'm going to try and get somebody on every week and see if that works. So this is weekly update number 58. There we go. And I can see we've already got 3 people on the live as well. So that's good. If you're on the live, please comment, ask us questions. We're constantly trying to answer your questions. So now's a good time if you've got any to ask them. And I'm now going to introduce you. If you remember, we did a podcast about 3 months ago now, all about the new law for the renewal of non-lucrative visas with our colleague, my friend Kosta from Valencia, who helps us up there in Valencia with all of our clients and also helps me mainly on a daily basis when we are moaning about our jobs. We basically about a lot of the behind the scenes earache between ourselves, because you do need that. He's almost like a therapist for us. So let's bring in Kosta and say hi.
Hello.
How you doing? Oh, hang on a minute. I should put you on the screen. There we go. How you doing, Kosta?
All good. It was a very nice introduction.
Thanks. Yeah, I think. Well, it is. I think sometimes with our messages, we're like therapists between ourselves because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, isn't there?
We know what really happens behind the scenes. That's true.
But you get letters going, they want what? That's the first time I've seen that in 350 renewals. So
yeah.
So it's all good, and I haven't given you any prep for today either, because it's just the weekly updates are just we get stuck in, we have a chat, and the clients jump on. So we'll go from there. Just before we do get started, though, obviously up there in Valencia. Valencia was in the news a lot, and then evidently, like all news, it just falls off to one side. Everybody forgets it happened. So how are you guys up there? Are you recuperating after last year's storm?
I mean, here in the city, it's really like it never happened, like for people living in the city. But obviously, the most affected areas, there's still more work to be done. Obviously, there will be a lot of work to be done. The metro lines are not really fully operational now that go through the affected areas, but they are starting to open, stops and trying to connect the southern villages where the metro is with the city. So they're kind of trying to meet somewhere in the middle. But apart from that, here in Valencia, in the city of Valencia, life is great. Finally, we have sun. I was away from Valencia last week, so people told me it was very dark and rainy. But now the sun seems to be back up, and I think it's about 19 or so degrees. So it's great.
Excellent. So that's good. So, but still, you've got public transport problems even 6 months on as it is.
But in spite of that, I mean, the local government has put some contingencies in place. There are bus connections instead of the metro that go through the metro line or around it, so people can actually get to and from Valencia. So it's pretty good job altogether.
Excellent. That's great. That's great news. It's great that it's coming, because they say all these things happen in the news, and then what happens is they just fall out the news, and there's another disaster somewhere else, and everybody forgets there's still a cleanup going on for 6 months.
Yeah. Like news is like this, so can't really do much.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So what we normally do here is I normally talk a little bit. We have 3 sections. So we talk about residency, and then our YouTube section, and then just general things about Spain. And the first thing I normally talk about is the turnaround times for the visas. And this week we've only got one, and but this is a positive one, because this one came through Manchester, and it was, so what we talk about now, so the appointment was on the 9th of January, so that's 9th, that's February, March. So less than 12 weeks. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
yeah, about 10 weeks for a Manchester visa. So well done, guys. You know who you are. So that's good. How are you getting on with renewals up there? Because you were having problems with the renewals in
Right. Well, I wouldn't say problems. Now, the big news around the renewals here in Valencia is that due to the floodings, going back to that topic, the foreign administration has put in place certain procedures in order to help the foreigners living in the affected areas or living or working in the affected areas. So when we talk about the non-lucrative renewals, there was a very nice and positive Real Decreto, which was approved, that by virtue of which all the residence permits that expire between the end of June of last year, let me point that, and what was it? I think the 14th of May of this year, you automatically approved. Every renewal that you submit will be automatically approved, unless there are issues with public order. So if you have a record, they would reserve their right not to give you the renewal. But if you have the funds or don't have the funds, insurance, it doesn't really matter, as long as you live within the affected areas. Not only that, there's I went to a seminar. I'm really I'm a sucker for these seminars in the Valencia Bar Association. Every time the foreign administration has something, I'm usually there. So the last one I went to, they talk about this very special residence permit for people who live in the affected areas. They also mentioned that they brought up new people in order to help out with all the other, with the backlog with all the other applications, including the non-lucrative renewal. So I had a record turnaround time on a non-lucrative visa from someone who is living in the affected areas. I think 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks. Yeah. I'm still waiting on a few others to come out, but I'm convinced they will be favorable, simply because the people live in the affected areas. Thank God they're okay. The houses are okay. They're in good physical condition. But since they live in these areas, the approval would be automatic. In general, apart from these, apart from that new thing, I would say we have a turnaround time of about 3 months, more or less. I would say 3.5. But the fun thing here is that when you get the resolution, you get the date of when the actual resolution was given, and then on the bottom you have the date of the signature of the resolution. That's a gap of 2 weeks. So officially you have an approval of day 1 of the month, but you actually get the resolution and see the resuelto favorable in the system check on or about the 50th and 60th of the month.
That's crazy. It is crazy.
To sign off a resolution. This is completely strange to me.
It sounds like the days of the old NIE, where you used to have to get the NIE, but go back at the end of the week because the guy had to sign it. That, thank goodness that's done digitally now. But do you remember those days? And then when they were on holiday, you had to go back and get your NIE certificate 3 weeks later because the chief wasn't there to sign it or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've had we had 2 crazy weeks of renewals where I think I sent you a message and told you that last week I had 2 requirements for renewals I'd never seen before. And both were from Malaga, where they asked for notarized and apostille bank statements from the UK proving average balance for a previous year, whereas here in Malaga and the other provinces we work in, as long as you provided legally translated documents, it's always been fine. Which I have to say we organized through Zach, who does our apostilles, and it's the first time we did it, but we had a notary notarize the bank account statement as long as our client could send a video of them actually downloading it and emailing it to them.
Really?
Yeah. So that was really cool. So we managed to get around that. That's been apostilled now. It's on its way. The apostille is coming back. But obviously they give us 10 working days to do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cheers, guys. So that was that. But we do have the notarized document and we have it translated. And I think, I mean, your opinion is greatly valued. But if I was to submit that before the 10 days with a proof that it's actually been submitted for apostille and escrito and say, look, it's physically impossible to get the document.
Yeah.
I think that'd be okay, to the point where we actually had one that was requested with apostilled and notarized documents, and we submitted just translated documents, but more of them with a calculation of the average balance, and it was approved anyway. So you never know, but belts and braces, you always try and do what they ask you to do.
It really comes down to how you want to tackle this. Because notarized and apostilled bank statements is a very, very, very sensitive topic. Because if you open the law, you would see that documents coming in from private institutions, there's actually an instrucción, you've probably seen it. If the documents are coming from private institutions, then a translation would suffice. However, but there are foreign administrations that really insist on apostilled and translated bank statements when they are coming from abroad. So the best advice one can get is always show funds from Spain. Prep everything from Spain. Make sure that you have the money here. Make it easy for all parties involved when you're doing the renewal. That would be my advice.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what else we noticed as well? And I'm just going to say hi to Andy who's on. Is anybody else on the chat? Please jump on. Hi, Andy. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. And one of the other things that we noticed as well was that two of them, the two that came with the people that only had assets abroad. Now there was another one. I said, well, why didn't this one get the same requerimiento? It was because we had a Spanish account which had regular transfers and proof of living as such. And then there was the actual funds which you're going to, the bulk of the funds which you're going to use for the renewal were in a UK account. So as you say, when someone's looked at that file in immigration, they've gone, well, actually, they've got a Spanish account. They don't need 36,000 euros to live a year. It's what we request, but they're not spending that. But I can evidently see that they've got the bulk there and they're bringing it across as and when they need it. And that was approved straight away. Whereas if it's only funds in a UK account, we find it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely have to submit something for Spain. Now, Valencia in, I think it was December. They were really strict on you showing the funds in Spain or movements in Spain of the account here. I think it has to do with probably money laundering. So they're trying to, tighten the screws on the money laundering side.
Origin of funds.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously trying to find something to do in order to comply with the new reglamento when it comes into force.
I was wondering that if it's something to do with what's coming in, but
I have a feeling it might. I
think we're going to see more changes. But then on the positive side here, I'm going to tell you now. So we had loads of requerimientos last week, which every time a requerimiento, you never know when it comes in, but when it lands on your desk, you've literally got to drop everything and go to it because that's the most important thing at that moment. And then this week we had approvals come in. Check this, right? Almeria 4, which came off the back of 4 denegaciones, 4 rejections, for a technical detail on the certificate of the insurance. We then contacted the insurers. They were within the 90 days post expiry of the car. We submitted everything again with the new insurance certificate and they were approved straight away. Right. So very strange. This all happened last week. Alicante 5, we got in all fine using translations as before. Murcia, again, we had 2 all fine using translations. And then 5 of the 7 that we got requerimientos for in Malaga came through this week, and the other 2 we expect soon. But 3 of those requerimientos, which just to explain for people who are watching, a requerimiento is when they require more documents and give you a certain amount of time, 10 working days to send them in, was another one I'd never seen before, which was, I don't know if it happens in Valencia, but we've never seen this, where they ask for proof that you have maintained your healthcare during the previous 2 years for renewal. It's the first time we've seen that in Malaga, and including the if we had one client who's actually changed his healthcare every year, he's very conscious of what they pay, and you're absolutely allowed to do that as long as it's goes straight after each other. It's chronologically doesn't have a break. So we submitted the previous certificates that they had, obviously the policies. If, for example, one of the certificates was dated and didn't have an end date on it, but the policy did, and the proof of the payment, including the policy which was they were going to be using for the renewal, and they came through as proved. So there you go. If you ever get that, it's the old policies and the proof of the payment.
Well, the first time I hear this, really, here in Valencia, this would be very, very strange to see.
It was crazy. But anyway, what I want to do also is I just want to say thank you to David Johnson, who bought me a coffee the last time that we were on. My phone's going off. That's the only thing about doing the lives during the week. My phone will be going off. And you can buy me a coffee here in the top left-hand corner if you want to. Thank you, David, for that. And I just wanted to show this photo of Paul, who got his EU residency last week with our translator, Chris, and very happy with that. And will now be applying for his wife's EU family members residency. Once we've also deciphered what Malaga want after getting the requerimiento from them this week for one of our families, which is going through at the moment, which again refers back to notarized and apostille documents and average balances. So it seems it's not just the NLV that they're doing it for. It seems to be
across the board. Yeah, maybe.
And what else did I have here on my list? Who else have we got? We've got anybody else on the live? No one else is chatting today. But last week we had loads of people on chatting. And and the last thing I was going to talk about was we now with the withdrawal agreement renewals coming. Oh yeah, how's that going up there anyway? The withdrawal agreement. Are they any idea what they're going to be asking for the direct swaps? For the resolution swaps?
No, not yet. No major news yet. I mean, I'm expecting them to come up with something very soon, but at least for now, I haven't heard anything.
So we're getting now inquiries from people who rushed in to get their withdrawal agreement residency before Brexit, actually got their 5-year temporary card. It hasn't quite worked out. They've actually left the country, gone to the UK, and now they're coming up for the permanent renewal, and they're saying, well, what do I need to be able to renew? Can I renew? And this sort of puts you in quite an awkward situation, doesn't it?
It does, because if you end up in a province that really insists on you having to prove that you lived here, what you were doing and whatnot, either not just the padrón histórico, right? Not just that, but also have been working, because it would depend maybe on the way you applied the first time around. Imagine you arrived late 2020, had a working contract, right? 6 months, for example, or an indefinite contract, doesn't really matter. And then in 2023, life changed, you moved out and went back to the UK, for example. And now you come back, foreign administration asks you, okay, so what about these 2 years? What did you do these 2 years? So
this is exactly what we're of. So one thing aside is tax liability. So this, I think, now as a temporary resident, you in theory you should spend more than 6 months a year here anyway in the withdrawal agreement. So in theory they may have taken your card away anyway, but we know, especially here in Malaga, that is very rare and you'd still be on the system. And here in Malaga at the moment, if you had a green card, swapped it, had a temporary residency, and then went to swap it for a permanent one, they're not asking for proof that you've been here. And as long as you're on the system,
same in Valencia. Now, if you have the green card, we already had a few cases like this. When you still have the green card, right? You can easily swap it for the permanent, for the 10-year card. We've already had a few cases of Brits in Valencia and also in Gandia who actually did this. It was very straightforward, really not much to it. But the question really is, how about all the people who got in the Resolución Favorable in 2020 and then got the TIE. That's a big, big question. What about them? So,
I don't think we're going to know until, as Malaga, they said we can't do it till we expire. And everybody's saying to me, well, do I need to show proof of funds? How much funds do I need to show? Will I need to show my healthcare?
to whom are you supposed to show? Because is it the subdelegación online, or is it the police station when you go for a toma de huellas, or how is it? Because remember, I told you that here in Valencia, in the city of Valencia, you have several police stations. You have one for EU citizens, one police station for TDH, and of course all the other police stations for the DNIs and Policía Local, etc. For example, in in Gandia, you have one police station that do everything. They do DNIs, they do TIEs, they do EU citizens. But here in Valencia, it's like two separate places. So where do you go? If it's a police station, which one it is? You gotta find that out. So I think they're going to hold off until they're very clear on what the procedure would be. And here in Valencia, normally they're waiting for Madrid to tell them what to do. I don't know about Malaga, but here in Valencia, that's usually the way to go.
Yeah, bearing in mind in Malaga here, I mean, they're saying, in Malaga, we are pretty much all in the same. We've got 9 police stations and they all do all of it. So we're good like that. And they said for the withdrawal agreement with resolution, it's going to be a direct swap but the thing is the criteria has changed as well.
Yeah.
We knew that in the initial application, the criteria, that's how my channel started. Changed literally every 2 weeks, and you would find out the first time you got a requerimiento document saying we now want to see this. And I ended up doing videos to send that to clients because that was the updates, and so we're yet to see. It's a tough one, and then people, obviously clients try and contact, they want to get their documents and cards in a row and ducks in a row, and I'm going to be expiring December, and you're like, right, at the moment it's like this, but what else can we do?
I've already had a few dozen, kind of that dozen, I think, 12 or 15 calls exactly like this. People whose cards expire end of the year, even the beginning of next year. So at this point, we can't really know what the process would be. But I would expect sometime around July we would know. Because remember, July was the July 6th, if I recall correctly, 2020 is when the procedure changed.
That's right. Yeah, it did. And then their interpretation 15 million times after that. So anyway, just say hi to Trudy. Said hi there from a sunny UK. Nice and sunny. And Lisa from, I think it's Lisa from Hibbert. Where are you from? Were you from there, Carl? Did I completely make that up, Lisa? I probably didn't. Hello, Chris and Kosta. Right, and the last thing I've got to talk about, which happened to me this week, and we'll crack on then with the YouTube comments, is signing on the Padron too early. Now, let me just see if I can find. Oh, anything could happen in the YouTube comments because I didn't manage to get the thumbnail previews, but never mind. Sign on the Padron too early. So a client or potential client who watches the channel contacted us this week to assist with a vehicle registration. I think it was in Murcia. Now we're based in Malaga, so sometimes we can do them and sometimes we can't, depending on what we expect the technical requirements to be, because sometimes you literally just have to be on the ground and be able to go to the ITV station and manage the case. If it's for change of residence, it's actually a lot easier because the technical requirements, i.e. the requirement for EU conformity, it doesn't matter because it's your vehicle, so they can't deny it on the fact that you haven't got conformity. But in this case, what happened was to waive the import tax, you can do that within your first year of residence, right? And but aduanas, which is customs, they will take one of two things as your first date of residence, right? They'll either take the date on your TIE card or the date that you registered your TIE card and the date which figures that you started your residence in Spain, or the date you signed on the Padron, right? And a lot of people have previously signed on the Padron for living here, which means that if they come over
Yeah.
and bring a vehicle. You've probably heard of this, yeah?
Yeah.
And I mean, the first ever problem years ago, I remember this, was a guy gave us his paperwork. It was clean, absolutely clean. And it's just after Brexit. And it was a brand new registration on the Padron. It said first date of registration on the Padron, this date. And it turned out he'd actually been registered somewhere else 2 years before that.
Yeah.
And they just would not budge. They said, no, he's been a resident because we've got it here. And they checked. And so in this instant, we wouldn't be able to help the client because they were registered on the Padron 2 years before they took residency.
Right.
Which means that when we submit the application through our customs agents, they do it on an online platform. And we know 100% that that'll be knocked back because they know that they've been registered on the Padron before and they consider that. So tax office will use any excuse to not waive tax, you know.
Right.
And the only way around it really is if you've got someone on the ground, translator, who can literally go there, and it's back to the old days of desk to desk.
Yeah.
You know, go down to customs, go down to aduanas with you and say, look, this person was signed on the Padron, but we've got this proof, we've got this proof, we've got this proof that, you know.
Well, if you want to prove a resident status, he might have been registered on the Padron, but not being a resident.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how to, it's very simple for you to prove this. Just go to the police station and obtain what is called a certificado de residencia. It's give you the historically when the residents, when there were residents in the past, like if he had obtained a permit from before or not. Yeah. So this would I assume help you in a way.
Oh, that would definitely help with the. I didn't think about that actually when I was. You said to mention it on your channel when I was talking to you. That would definitely help in the battle against it.
Yeah, because you can prove, hey, look, officially, I've been a resident since that date.
Yeah.
Before, I was only on the Padron for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. But residence-wise, this certificate, it's a one-pager. I don't know if you obtained these in the past, but it's a one-pager that says you've been a resident since that date until that date, then you stopped, then you became a resident again, or whatever it is. It's very common, actually, to get these if you're doing nationalities, Spanish nationalities, when there are gaps in between residencies. Oh, I see. My dad left a comment.
Is that your? That's no. You're gonna have to translate that one.
It is. It says, "Bravo, lawyer Prokopiev," which is me, and good luck.
Awesome. I'm glad your dad's watching as well.
He's also a lawyer, by the way.
Oh, is he? Oh, brilliant!
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We have to get him on as well. Give his opinion on Spanish. Is he? He's not a lawyer here though. He's a lawyer in Bulgaria.
No. He's a lawyer in Bulgaria, and he handles criminal law.
So I bet you have some great conversations around the family table then.
Yeah, we do. My uncle as well. So you can imagine when we have a get together, it's pretty legal.
Brilliant. Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea actually. What I'll do is I'll suggest that to the client to make sure he gets some. I mean, I still think it's going to be a battle desk to desk. I don't think the online, because then they hide behind the online platform when you do it there, and they'll go, yeah, no, denegado, it's got the and then you might get into all sorts of arguments online, and we know with the Padron thing they just hide behind it. But if you could go down there, because you can physically visit aduanas in the port and actually take the file and the proof of the non-residents,
it
may work.
It might. Best of luck. I hope it does.
We'll give you. There you go. See, bringing it up. And he said, bring it up on your show. There you go. There's another angle for you to go at. Right, we're going to look now at the YouTube. Now, on the YouTube, I have completely messed up my icons, so I can't see what I'm showing. So anything can come up now. It doesn't matter. it's going to be a fun one for YouTube comments. But before we start, let me just show you this. This is the video that I did on Friday, which was talking about the UK green card holders who haven't got a TIE card yet, not being allowed in the country once EES is brought into place. Basically, you're not going to be a valid form of proof of residency. To be honest, if you've still got a green card and you haven't swapped it, where have you been? Have you been under a rock? Because we've been beating that drum for a long time. I did right at the beginning when everybody went, no, no, it's still valid proof. I'm going, just get the TIE. It's going to be the easiest moving forward. So yeah, that is a video that you need to watch because it is the end of the green card finally for UK citizens, which actually, correct me if I'm wrong, by default it should be anyway, because even if you got your green card in June 2020, you would now be coming up in the next 3 months for the 5-year permanent period anyway, wouldn't you? So the green card should be, it's ending.
For the UK citizens, yes.
Yeah. So it's green card, British citizens, withdrawal agreement. Go and get a TIE card if you haven't already. And what's this one here? Oh yeah, this is the Saturdays live with Scats, 10 a.m. Put it in your diary. We spoke about finances last week, and this week we move on to healthcare.
Okay.
So and the recent movement in healthcare with the renewals from Almeria and the past requirement of proof in Malaga, we'll be talking all about that. So there we go. And let's get into the comments. Now I can't see these comments. I don't know why. So this should be fun. In a minute. Oh, now it's not loaded. Why is it not loading my comments? We could have. Oh dear. No, we're not loading the comments. That's probably why I can't see them. These things do happen when you do lives, you know. Quick, let's go to the chat and make sure anybody. Hi, Lisa. Oh, yes. Lisa says, yes, I'm from there. I don't know where I got that from, but you are. And Robbo in Spain with his shorts. I was watching one of your shorts today, Robbo. Popped up. Well done. Hi, Robbo. How you doing? Right, guys, talk amongst yourself while I try and find my YouTube comments.
Well, you're the YouTube expert. You should know.
I always screenshot them and I've put them somewhere today. Maybe this might be a quick section.
Yeah.
If we can't find the YouTube comments, this will be a quick section. I had some good ones as well today.
You know, you and I, we can always find a topic to talk about.
We do. I think it's good though to have, you know, I was talking to Charisse, who works for us as well. She's one of the lawyers who works for us here in Malaga. And lately we were just having a moan because she had the same recomiendo as what I did for the for any EU family members. And I think it really, when you work in the industry, I suppose it's, you know, it's like it really helps to have somebody to bounce off of and just talk to. You know, you can be quite lonely out here, you know. You know, when you're on your own, you're sat in front of a computer and you're getting these requirements and you're trying to think, well, how on earth do I get from, I've got one here now, this document, which is a 2-page document full of legal Spanish, which is asking for something which is completely ridiculous, to explain that to a British person who's only lived here 12 months, you know, in a reasonable sort of way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I completely understand what you mean. Part of our job is to summarize and to find the best language to use towards clients.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the client must feel comfortable, right? That he is in safe hands. He or she
Absolutely
is in safe hands. But our job is even more complicated when we have sometimes we have ridiculous requerimientos that you cannot explain in any other words, but you know, literally. So
yeah,
it's part of the job, just part of the job.
And for and I'm not ignoring you, I'm just trying to sort out these comments that I was supposed to have on today and now completely messed up. But it's at that point you find yourself speaking a lot of Spanglish.
Yeah. And you have a third language like me, it's the mix is just really nice up there.
Yeah, it's you sit there and you go. It's funny. I end up speaking like my children because they you know, they speak a bit of Spanglish now and then we do in the household, and it's here we go. 1 second, I've nearly got them for you guys, and it's trying to translate these legal documents and now say things which only really make sense if you know what you're reading.
Yeah,
you know, and into something that's simple in English, you know, can be quite challenging. Now, here we go. Let's have some good comments, and I can't. 1 second, guys. I will be with you with the comments. If not, we'll just move on to the next section. Who
In the
else?
meantime, I see I think we have a question.
Do we have a question? Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so let's get into this then. So, Paul Pilot's on. Hey, Paul, how you doing? And Paul Pilot says first, what comes first, the NIE or Padron? Oh, that's a good question. And hola, Chris, and Kalispera Costa.
I'm not Greek, but Kalispera as well.
Right. So, which comes first, NIE or Padron? Costa, do you know what? I'm going to let you answer that one, colleague, and I'm going to look for my YouTube comments. I'd love to know your answer.
It's a very simple answer. The answer is actually, which one do you prefer to come first? There really is no order. If by NIE you mean just NIE number, just a NIE certificate with the number on it and the padron, then it doesn't really matter. If by NIE you mean say an EU residence permit, then the padron should come first, and then you apply for your residence permit, the so-called green NIE. And one of the documents you need to show on your appointment is proof of address in the form of a padron certificate.
That is a very good explanation. It is. It depends, as Scats would say, my mate. Really, we had an interesting one the other day. Now, you probably dealt with more Arraigo cases than me and stuff, but it was my understanding that even if you're here illegally, you can sign on the padron, because that's part of residency applications at times. And we had a client in Murcia who they insisted they had a residency appointment before they'd let him sign on the padron.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I assume that's an exception, or just a strange case. Yeah. Here in Valencia, when we do Arraigos, it's mainly my business partner, not me. It's Nelly who handles the Arraigos. But to my knowledge, no such thing would ever happen here. And if it does, I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh, Paul Pilot said it's for EU residents. Well, in that case, if it's for EU residents, your NIE, your padron may come before the residency, because if you've got no need to have an NIE before your padron, then you'll get it with your EU residents.
Yeah.
And Annika says, been out enjoying the nicest day of the year so far. Yeah, that's where I should be actually. Yeah, now. So I'm going to have a walk after this, maybe.
You and me both. I really need a break, to be honest. It's been a busy week, I would say.
Yeah, it's been it's the spring rush. Then it'll be the summer rush, and
and let's not forget, I think we changed the clock this Saturday, don't we?
Oh, good point. Yes. So do we spring forward? So we actually lose an hour in bed, don't we?
Yeah, that's true. And I only thought about this because I thought about a case that I had. I had a call with an American client, and in the States they changed the clock already, I think 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So there was a mix-up with the appointment time. Yeah, it was a bit strange at the end, but we finally managed to have a sit-down talk and discuss the case. But I got an email now, so I have to follow up, but not today.
Well, just remember, guys, then it's spring forward on Saturday. So these I finally got my comments here. So there we go. We're fighting through it. So we got in there, technician that we are on YouTube. So this was on my UK Citizens Green residency card, no longer valid. Patrick said, thanks for the info, Chris. Crypto experience, October 2025. Also, EU launched digital euro, so it's getting 1984 real fast in the EU. Have no clue what that comment has to do with my video, and I've also been deleting lots of these really random crypto comments from with accounts which seem to be made an hour before they comment. I don't know what they benefit in it, to be honest with you. I'd probably have to chat GBT it to find out, but it's weird.
Yeah.
And then June hit Choc 17. Is it reciprocal? Does it mean citizens resident in the UK will lose their right to travel to? You're talking about Spanish citizens living in the UK. Now, just to be clear, no one's absolutely losing their right to travel. The green cards exchange has been available since July 2020,
Mhm.
where there's been an abundance of appointments on. We're suffering now to get appointments, actually, but in the last 5 years, everybody has had the opportunity to exchange their green card. So no one is being losing any right to travel. What they're trying to do is now finally tell people that there's a determined amount of time to regulate their documentation. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that was that. So no one's losing their right to travel. Spain's new law approved. Let the venture begin. Video about nothing for food for wasting my time.
That's
Um,
inappropriate.
I would probably not either watch when you're drinking or use a spell checker. And we have, oh, here we go. So I did a video in Torre del Mar. Now, if you saw my Torre del Mar video, I must apologize, but it was sunny when we left the house. When we got there, it was absolutely raining, and I just powered through it and ended up publishing it anyway. It's probably not a good representation of Torre del Mar, but the food, which we're going to show you later on, did look good. But as Patrick said, I couldn't judge whether I could live there with that weather. Yeah, for sure. And whatever comments we got going on. So, could you live in Fingarola? Have you ever been to Fingarola?
Nope, never.
I love it. It's a great. If you come to Malaga, it's one of those places. I don't think you need to stay for more than a day or two, but definitely worth a visit if you come. But it's Irishman 616. It's 6124. It's dangerous late at night. Strange looking bad boys. To make it worse, ladies walk over to you offering fun. All they want to do is find your wallet. The nicest area in the Costa del Sol. I've been there 7 times. Unfortunately, I've gone bored of it. Okay, so it's contradicting yourself there, but I do understand on both fronts what you're saying, because it is a lovely area and it's great to visit it. But at night time, it can be a little bit shady if you're in the wrong areas. So you have to be a bit careful of where you are at night time, like all coastal towns and like all discotheque areas. You got to be a bit careful. But I have heard that there is a shady side to Fingarola as well.
Okay.
And this video that I did about Peníscola last year, and it was named the famous film that was filmed in Peníscola. Well, there was actually quite a few films, so I'm going to leave that question out there and see if anybody on the live chat can answer that. There's been more than one. Recently, I think there was a very it was Game of Thrones. I think they've had a scene there somewhere, but there's been a lot of older films there as well.
Maybe in the castle. It's really beautiful over there.
We're going to go this year, I think, for longer. So hopefully we can meet up. And it's we've got some friends who've got a place there, and I really enjoyed it. And it's very Spanish tourism. A lot of Spanish tourism there.
It is. It is. Very nice area. Very nice food. Nice people over there in Peníscola, and definitely the castle.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of history, so every time there's a castle involved, I'm usually all up for it. And the one in Penisca is really worth the visit, I would say.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. As you say, the food, you get those huge plates of marisco.
Yeah.
That was
Mariscana, or
yeah.
it had a name. It had a appropriate name. I think it's called Mariscada or something like that.
Yeah, it was yeah, I have to say, and cheap enough as well, to be honest with you, for what it was, so and Oya 2112 on our 180-day rule returns to Spain. This is old now. This was when we were talking about the renewal and the well, it's not old, it comes in on 20th of May, but they're asking for permanent residency. How would Spanish authorities know if I travelled outside the country but took a train in within Schengen areas? Good question. How would they know?
Well, if they want to find out, they will find out. That's the rule of thumb. But how about bank statements? Present bank statements. You haven't spent anything in Spain, nothing, only outside of Spain. That would be one way for them to easily find out where you've been and where you've been spending your money. But other than that, in prima vista, maybe there is no way. But again, believe me, the rule of thumb is if they want to find out, they will find out.
Yeah, I mean, this day and age, everything's digital.
Absolutely.
We don't know, and I'm sure when you go to any bar association meetings, that the subdelegation aren't saying, "Oh, this is the access that we have to see everything from."
Yeah.
Interpol to Hacienda to, I mean, we know that they have access to like the tax office, for example, because we get
Social Security, and
criminal records.
Yeah, and I also think Europol, but I'm not entirely convinced because I can't really see. I can't check the desk, and then log in the system and see what they see. But I think they have access because in their system they might find out if there's an arrest warrant in your name or something like that, or if you have some legal issues. Now, I've been to appointments with EU citizens, and sometimes something popped up, something that the client didn't want to fully discuss with me, and they should have, because there was a record, there's some criminal history, so there are issues. Obviously, had to sort these issues first, then apply for residency.
Yeah. So we know that immigration have access to a lot of stuff, and just to wrap up that comment that you made, that's what this is Paul Pilot who's talking about the Padron or NIA.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, that in order to get residency appointment, you needed a Padron, but some couldn't get their Padron without proof of appointment for Residencia. So we're caught in a loop. Not really. Now, I have heard this before. This is my comment with Murcia, my client in Murcia. And we booked an appointment, sent them with the PDF of the appointment booking.
Right.
That satisfied the need, to be honest. So that was that. But yeah, what you got to remember is, especially when people are on Facebook and stuff like that, is that sometimes it's just not one boot fits all, is it? There's general information, for a Padron appointment, for example, you need your contract, maybe details of the person you rented, etc., etc. But it's a person behind the desk who ultimately is going to go, here we have a local requirement of, or my boss has told me to ask for this. So it's one of those, isn't it, where you just don't know exactly what it is. And I think someone's hovered over the QR code, but I can't. How do I tell? I really need to find Ask Scats, actually. He knows if someone's hovered over the QR code and bought me a coffee, because he does all of this, and I still get confused with it. Anyway, poco will be improving. Now we're going to move on and talk about Spain. Right then, this is the fun bit of the show, but I can check, I think, on my mobile, the coffee app. Here we go. And this is live, isn't it? I don't know there's a symbol here. I don't know what it means. Never mind. Right then, so what have we got going on in Spain? Well, first of all, I just thought I'd show you this here, which was the scene of the festival in Torre del Mar. See, most years I like to go to this festival in Torre del Mar. It's not going to go this year because the lineup's a bit naff, but it's a 3-day festival in Torre del Mar. Been 2 years in a row, 100,000 people over the last over the 3 days, and that's where it's held. But that's what it currently looks like as we drove past the other day.
Okay.
So it's underwater at the moment. So let's see if that dissipates before July. I'm sure it will, but I'm not too sure how much of that area they'll be able to use for the festival. And I had this. This is a photo of myself. You can see I'm looking really happy in that one, can't you? There we go. That's Torre del Mar in the rain. It is one of my favourite places. And what else did we have to show you? Let's have a look at the comments again. There's people here commenting, and Annika said, "Oh yeah, yes, yep. Saturday afternoon, the food was excellent." On their comment, and Raymond said, "If they bought you a coffee, you receive a notification." Oh, okay, then that's good. I'll check the notifications afterwards. Oh, here we go. Just one here. I want to say a big happy birthday to Mike, who you can see there with Rosanna, who are actually doing their renewals at the moment. Mike's birthday is tomorrow. He's a big 7-0. You wouldn't believe it to meet him because he bounds around like a teenager. But Mike also helped us out with a fantastic article for our website, which was all about Mike's a cancer survivor and is very open about his treatment and his transition from UK treatment for cancer survivors to getting your treatment in Spain, registering here, and the maintenance of that treatment. So that's an absolutely crucial article on our website, and one that could only come from someone who's been through it. So yeah, happy birthday, Mike. And if you haven't read that article, jump on our website and look for this article. It's very
okay, will do.
It's we're trying to get more stuff from clients in these situations out there, and yeah, that's it was good of him to write that for us. And what else have I got here? Check this out. Now, this is my butcher's. But when I was reading it, thinking this is quite funny. I don't know how many people actually understand English who go to our butchers. But if you translate dry and aged, it's seco y viejo.
Yeah.
So, which just doesn't sound right in Spanish, does it?
Yeah, but it's seco y viejo. Yeah.
Well,
Sounds nice though. There's a nice vibe to it, but really not ideal, I would say.
No, so I think that's probably why they put it in English. But and I'm very sorry if you don't like meat at the moment. If you don't like meat or you don't eat meat, but I did
Oh
have to
no,
show.
no! I'm from the Balkans.
So this is their Friday selection that they had there with their intricate. They've got solomillo there in that round plate at the top right. They actually give you it prepared like that, and yeah, so that's where you go for your weekend. Oh, this is a good question from Raymond. Do they sell good lamb? The answer is no. Right, it's the only meat. It's my favorite meat, and it's always naff and expensive everywhere you go here in Andalusia, unless you go to one of the. There is an Irish butcher, believe it or not, because we obviously have a big expat community, and the frozen lamb in Mercadona isn't too bad. But apart from that, what about up there? Do you get lamb in Valencia?
I personally don't eat lamb that much. Gotta ask my wife about this. She's more of a fan of the lamb. I'm more of I like pork, chicken, of course, mainly these two. Lamb, not that much. And back home, I would say pork is the dominant one. So chicken, so just these two. Lamb, maybe once a year I would have it. So I can't really tell you.
I say, yeah, I like a bit of lamb. I like dark meats and the fatty bits. So I do like a lamb, but I need a whole leg for me, to be honest, here in Spain. And I took this photo because I thought it might interest some people of these huesos and viejo. So basically, what these are, you don't see them that much. I don't know if you do see them in Bulgaria. You certainly don't see them in the UK.
They look similar, just something that we sell over there. Yeah. What's the name again in Spanish?
Huesos and viejos. So it's old bones, basically.
Yeah. Well, old bones, no, but they do resemble something that we have back in Bulgaria.
So we have we use these in Spain to make stock, and you see them on the side. And Nelly says, "Hi, Chris." Hi, Nelly. And basically, you buy them, and you stick it in water and you boil it up, and that creates stock for things like garbanzos, like chickpeas, or you could even, if you make a chicken soup or something like that, or if you're making any sort of broth. And historically, when people are sick, they'll make a broth out of the bones as well. And so if you see these, don't be scared. Buy them, boil them up, and see what you can use it for, because it just adds this extra taste to the food. Bit salty though, that's anything. And but that's on the left. Now, do you know what that is on the right?
Nope.
That's old pig feet.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
manos, they call them manos añejo. And I had to ask the butcher, and I said, listen, are you seriously saying that that's because if you Google it, it says that they basically dry them for 18 months and then salt them and then sell them as a. And I was like, is that, I've never seen dried pig feet like that. And he said, oh yeah, he said, that's even better than the bones. He said, you can't beat it. So yeah, let's see. I haven't tried it yet. I'll let you know about the pig feet. So I've used Wessels quite a lot, but not the pig feet.
Okay. New experience, I guess.
Yeah. And I just wanted to show you here as well. And oh yeah, Raymond said it's we got some delivered from Bilbao and was disappointed. Yeah, lamb's not the best in Spain. I suppose we don't have the climate for it. Is that, yeah, it's good for soups, the bones. And anyway, when we did go to Torre del Mar, because it was raining, we just went straight to the first place, Casa Miguel, that we saw. And we had a lovely surprise meal. It was so nice. We didn't expect it to be as nice. That is they called that a 3-color timbal. So basically it was tomatoes, avocados. Can't remember what they had for the yellows. It was like a traffic light system going on.
Yeah.
And timbals seem to be very popular here now, where they make these salads which are pre-formed and chucked on a plate. I don't know if they are in Valencia, but they seem to be a thing now here in Andalusia.
Maybe I have not seen them here.
Is they call them timbals, and then to eat we did the typical stick everything in the middle of the table and eat from it, and we had the old gambas, pil and mejillones.
Yeah, classic Spanish classic.
The classic. And then if you really can't be bothered to think, which I couldn't be, even bigger classic is just have the mariscada and just stick it on a plate.
There you go.
So
exactly, yeah.
So if you can't be bothered really to think and don't fancy individual plates, then you can just get the mixed fried fish or the mixed deep fried fish as well. That was you get 2 options, and I don't like the deep fried ones because I think that I don't know, you never know how old the oil is, do you? But the old mariscada is definitely if you can't be bothered to think, just get it all chucked on a plate and picking it between you.
Yeah.
What else did we have here? And then for dessert, they called this the chocolate explosion, which was very nice.
Ooh.
And that was, I don't eat dessert, so this was for my family. I don't like sweet stuff, but and this was Lara's, which was it's crazy things they come up with. It was jelly infused with gin, which is Puerto de Indias from Sevilla, with exploded ice cream, and that stuff on top was what we used to get as kids in the little packets that when you put it in your mouth with a lollipop, it exploded.
Yeah. I remember we had them in Bulgaria as well. We're very popular at one point.
I was like, I'm sure I recognize that from somewhere. And I was like, oh yeah, from when I was about 4, I think. Yes, it's crazy. And Raymond said, yeah, he said those manos are great with bean stew. I will try that then because I do like a bean stew, and Kez said it's three of our favourites. Well, hopefully we'll see you soon in Malaga, and Kez, and we can go and have something to eat. Now, I wanted to show you this as well. The sun is back. This is the last couple of bits now. The sun is back, and this tree didn't have. This is a fig tree. This tree didn't have a leaf on it on Sunday. Okay. And this picture was taken yesterday. Look at this. It didn't have a leaf on it on Sunday. It literally had those little bits of sprouts. And the moment the sun came out, that is 3 days growth on a fig tree.
Wow.
Incredible. I mean, we've had a lot of water, to be fair.
That's quick.
Yeah. But that is just to show you here. You wouldn't believe it. And then I'd got this was another tree down the lane which I had been looking at as well. And just you can't believe how big the leaves have grown. Literally, that's a week's growth. You know, so with this there wasn't a leaf on the trees a week ago.
Well, imagine that. 3 days. It's I guess I don't know what brand it is, what type of tree it is, but in 3 days, this is really impressive.
That's a fig tree. So that's an eagle fig tree, but they do grow really quickly. So if you cut them back, and then they'll just stay. And the moment the season kicks in, they just go off. They can grow. The actual branches, you're supposed to prune them every 2 years, not every year. And then the second year after the pruning, when you've left the branches, when you get the best fruit. And or if anybody knows different, let me know. But that's what I was told by my friends, and seems to work. But the year you prune it and it sits tight, no leaves or anything on it for ages, and then suddenly when you get to spring, it will shoot the branches out, and it will probably take 6 weeks to get a 2 or 3 meter branch.
Okay.
It's crazy. I wanted to. And Raymond says, yeah, hay fever season is coming. Yeah, well, yeah, it's the pollen from the palm trees which are the worst, you know, for hay season.
Didn't do that.
And Nelly says, when are the figs in season? They are in season before the wasps get them. So around July, normally it depends. Each fig is different. And brevas, which is like a fig, exactly the same tree, it comes twice a year. So, yeah, definitely not winter, but it is a summer fruit. And then the last photo I've got to show you here, because I'm celebrating 25 years, actually next week, that I've been in Spain.
Hey, congratulations.
So the next week's live, I'll be celebrating exactly 25 years since I lived in Spain. And so I've been going deep in the photos, and I've got a photo of the month before I got my haircut and I moved to Spain.
Okay.
So, you're going to laugh at this one. This is me with my nanny. There we go. So that's first time on a live. That's me.
This is not you.
This is me. That was about a month, or say about 2 months, the summer. So I moved over so that was a couple of months.
That's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't really see the resemblance, to be honest. I can't.
The lovely middle parting with the long hair.
Yeah.
And that was my car as well. It was a Chevette, which would have been there's a few of them left now. So yeah, there you go. That was a funny photo. I'm going to dig out more this year while I'm celebrating my 25th year in Spain. So I'm not ashamed. I don't care. It's nice to get them out there.
It's been a fun ride, I guess, those 25 years, right?
It's been a fun ride. 25 years has been good, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. So we'll be digging out some photos from maybe some of the early days, yeah, we'll see what interesting stuff I can get up there. And Ray says, Anna can say, Feliz 25 years, and Nelly says, Is that a Chevette? Well, it is a Chevette. It was a 4-speed Chevette from 1983, which only had a long wave radio, shortwave radio, and chrome bumpers. So you can now everybody knows how old I am.
That's amazing.
But never mind. Right then, guys. Thanks we can't thank you enough, Kosta, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Thank you very much. It's been a fun one, and I will no doubt be sending you a WhatsApp in the next couple of days to moan about something.
Yeah, me too.
And thanks for everybody for coming on. Remember, if you want to contact us, you can book a call by hovering over the QR code here, or you can go on our website, which is, he says, where's the website? Here we go. Which is there, and book a call there. Check out the articles and everything. Don't forget that I will be live on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock with Scats on the YouTube Spain channel. And next week, it's update number 59, celebrating 25 years in Spain. So thanks all for watching. Cheers, Kosta, for coming.